Hi, it's Trevor Bragdon with 7-Figure Fundraising. Today's 5-minute fundraising tip is the 15x rule, how to estimate prospecting success. So last week we discussed those 3 types of donor leads, and today I want to focus on just 2 of them, warm leads and cold leads. And just as a reminder, warm leads, those are referrals, people you've met, maybe someone you've run into at an event, or really lapsed donors. And then you also have cold leads. These are people who are qualified to be major donors, but don't really have a connection with your organization right now, and frankly might not even know that you exist. So why do these 2 categories matter so much? Because the warmer that your lead is, the more likely you are to close them. Now, that sounds a little obvious, but have you ever stepped back and just really thought about what's the difference in effort between closing a warm lead and then closing a cold lead? Well, in our workshop, Raise 100K, that we're launching this week, we go through and we have some easy ways to estimate what those rates of closure are so you can estimate how many leads you need to meet your targets and how many new donors you'd like to have. So let's look at cold leads first. Now, if you have 100 cold leads that you're working on, and you begin your outreach to them, you begin your follow-up sequence where you're reaching out and you're talking to them, over a period of about 6 months, you should have about 1 out of every 5 respond to you. So that's about 20 people. Now, of those 20 people who responded, you can expect about 4 meetings. Now, those 4 meetings, you'll likely close 1. So this is the 100x rule. It means that for 100 cold leads equals about 1 new donor. Now, what about warm leads? Those people who have some connection and know a little bit about your organization? Well, if you have 100 warm leads and you reach out to them and you work through your process of setting up meetings, you'll likely get meetings with about 25 of them. So of those 25 people you meet with and you pitch and you sit down and talk with them about it, about 7 of those people will become new donors. So it's about 7 new donors out of 100 warm leads. And when you sit back and you do the math, that figures out to, for about every 15 warm leads you have, equals 1 new donor. Now, the great thing about the 15x rule and the 100x rule is it helps you estimate how many new donor prospects you need to meet your goals. So let's go through an example. So say you wanted to get 10 new major donors over the next 12 months. How many leads would you need? So you take 15 times 10 equals you need about 150 warm leads to get to eventually 10 new major donors. Now, if you're doing a cold lead strategy, you're going to need to do quite a bit more work. And with that, you're going to say 100 times 10 equals about 1,000 cold leads that you're going to need to work and process. So your numbers might be slightly different. It all depends on your close rate and the number and your meeting rate. But what we've found is using the 15x rule and the 100x rule gives you just a good way to estimate roughly how many leads you need to meet your new donor goals. And the question you need to ask yourself is this: am I maximizing our warm leads right now? Do you have some systems in place to ensure that every potential donor you meet with, every referral you get, they get followed up with and that new meetings are set with them? So if the answer is yes, that's great. And if the answer is, well, we don't have those quite yet, that's okay too. That's why we created the Raise 100K class. It's all about how do someone on your team or you yourself create systems in your nonprofit to make sure you're able to capture the warm leads first, and then eventually, once you have those systems in place, how you're able to go and work these cold leads and make sure you're maximizing the new donors and the potential for your organization. If you're interested in the Raise 100K workshop, visit our website to learn more at raise100k.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.